Hi everyone, Nubkeks here, and welcome to the upcoming Heroes as well. It's not really upcoming, I think it's live now, but the balance update for December 6th, 2016. Not the PTR patch notes, which are also live on the PTR, but this new set of live patch notes tweaking a bunch of heroes. We're going to do two videos. In this one, looking at the current update, what that's going to mean, and the second one, we're going to be looking at the PTR notes and what they're going to mean. So that should work out, hopefully being as clear as possible and not having one like ridiculously long video. Also, apologies, I'm all like wrapped up in my dressing gown and stuff. My house is so cold right now, so yeah, we'll just have to deal with it. As you can see, lots of heroes have been tweaked here. Let's just dive right into it and see what happens. So first up, we got Falstad. One of the things that's happening in this is that the power of a lot of global talents are being reduced, which I think is pretty good. Because globals have become very, very dominant in the last while. So flight cooldown is now 10 seconds longer, which is pretty long, and epic mount now reduces flight cooldown to 30 seconds. What was it before? Let's double check. I have to check a Stitch's talent as well. Let's just check that so we know exactly what it was before. I just reduced the cooldown of flight to 25 seconds. So, alright, so epic mount then is, technically actually even better. That's kind of cool. Alright, so you get 25 seconds off as opposed to 20 off. Pretty interesting. So Falstad, I mean, it's not a massive change, but it makes your flight. You have to think about it a little bit more, using it to get back. I'd almost prefer if they just knock that up to a minute, honestly. Falstad has been so dominant. And then you have to think about using it more to get back to lane, as opposed to using it to get to an objective or something. Wasting your flight is going to be a bigger deal, and I think that's good, because it just has been so strong. I love this. Reign of Destruction for Gul'dan. The cast range has been increased by 10%. Reign of Destruction is OP now compared. No, it's still pretty bad, but this does make it much more usable here, much less vulnerable when you're using it. I don't know. In like a proper Hero League game at high level, I can't see any reason to pick Reign of Destruction, really, apart from just the fun factor. But it is fun, certainly. Now we get on to a bigger and more substantial and significant change, which is Li Ming. Calamity now only deals damage to heroic targets. Her level 7 upgrade. In fact, I want to check something out here with you guys while we're looking at this. Li Ming's Calamity is being used just as much as a minion clearing tool as a hero killing tool, which is never the intention in her original design. By limiting this to heroes only, it helps highlight one of her intended weaknesses, which is low wave clear potential. I actually really like this change. I know some people, Li Ming fans, are going to be horrified. It has been like the default pick. Let's find Li Ming. She's probably somewhere in the middle. Nah, yeah, there she is. Pretty low down overall. Overrated, very overrated hero. Very strong, but very overrated. Okay, well, just for the general populace, yeah, so Calamity has been noticeably better than the other ones. At the same time, I suppose there's only a 1.2% difference between Seeker and Calamity, so it's not the end of the world. Let's crank it up to Master and see. We'll see, the popularity just jumps up. Hey, look at that, Seeker actually has a higher win rate. So I'd expect we could probably be seeing some different Li Ming builds, which would be pretty cool. Like, look at this. You could totally have Force Armor, Charge Blast, Seeker, Disintegrate, Cannoneer, Fireflies, and I don't know, like Talrash's Element build, something like that. I don't know if that works well with the reduced thingy, but there's definitely the options here. Looking at just the win rates, that hey, a Q build might be better than people expect it to be, which is pretty interesting. Which certainly Calamity has been a very solid talent. And the reason that I do actually like this change so much is, like they said, I feel like in every Hero League game, I could walk in, first pick Li Ming, even with, let's say, like, both teams waste their bans. Every hero is open. I feel like I could first pick Li Ming, walk away, make a cup of tea, come back as the game, like, activates, loads in, and be completely fine. Just be like, yep, so long as my team were not completely useless at drafting, I'm going to be completely fine this game. I'm going to be really effective at Li Ming. She just works in every situation. She has no real weaknesses. She's always good. She's always strong. It's not like other heroes. Like, if I first picked another hero, I might be kind of scared that they would counterpick that hero. Like I first pick Vala. Okay, I'm a little bit scared that they might, pick a Zeratul or something, which makes my life difficult. Or that they could take away, Tassadar, take away Oriel, some of these healers that are really good with Vala. Not so at Li Ming. I'm like, you guys, so long as you make it a proper team comp, guys, I'm fine with whatever you guys pick. I'm fine with whatever the enemy picks. All the heroes in the game are open. They can pick whatever they want. I'm going to be just fine. I'm going to be fantastic in this game. I think that's a problem. Obviously, you want heroes to have a bit of a weakness. So I like that her minion clearing ability is going to be a weakness now. Hooray, that's great. And it also gives, you know, Jaina and Kelthus, even Chromie with the W build, a bit more of, you know, a bit more of an identity as bringing more comparable wave clearing and stuff like that. So I'm a fan of this. I know people might be outraged, but I'm a fan. And you know what? I just think it's funny that we've gotten to the stage again as well where they've nerfed everyone else so much that they've nerfed Li Ming again. She was balanced for a while, and now she just once again has, in the last couple of months, I suppose, become this dominant hero. Though again, like I said, pretty overrated, all things considered. Pretty overrated. Like, her win rate, I mean, doesn't go higher than, well, I suppose with this Q build it goes pretty high. But like, generally speaking, we're looking at like the low 50s. It's really not that good, but you just get played a lot, which does offset it. But you know what I mean. Definitely overrated, particularly when you saw the overall thing. I think it's becoming more and more important, especially with this Q build. It's going to be more and more important to actually hit your stuff. If you miss your Qs, it's not going to be good. Yeah, I like it a lot. Let's talk about Samuro then. Okay, I actually have a video on Samuro coming out today, which was with the old stuff, which is rather annoying because I just made that video, thought it was a good video, it's already uploaded and everything is good to go, and then they changed him. Darn it, they changed him. Not massive changes, so that video will still be just fine. But yeah, they have nerfed Samuro, so again, like, if we go back to overall Hot Slugs data, I mean, Samuro is still #1. Now, he's not outrageously powerful by any means, he's just a little bit too strong overall right now. And then, like, if you crank it over to Masters, and this is probably my concern, right, for the games that I'm playing, you see Samuro drops down. Where is he gone? Where is he gone? Where is he gone? Where is he gone? He's all the way down here, 53% win rate, which is like, you know, like, there's so many other heroes around the same level that are quite good. Like, for example, Illidan is right there, and Illidan is better. So yeah, now he is pretty high up though in general, but still, like, you see Li Ming, she's kind of like halfway. Right? A little bit less than halfway, just to mention her once again. But just Samuro, he's okay. My big concern is that when I was talking about Samuro at the start, right, I was saying that I want them to nerf him or to change him in such a way that will make him less dominant at the general levels of play in all the other leagues, but like not nerf him so much that he becomes irrelevant at the top level of play. I think with what they've done, because there is this big discrepancy, I don't think they've quite honed in on that yet. I don't think they've quite done that. I think they've just, for the most part, just nerfed him. They've done a decent job so far, actually, because he is still somewhat respectable. And the gap between the general play and the master play has shrunk an awful lot. I just feel like with these nerfs, sure, he's probably still going to be very strong at general level of play, whereas at masters, I was starting to feel like, you know what, Samuro could actually be a pretty good pick on some of these maps. He's going to be even more niche now. I don't know. It is a balance change aimed very much at the general thing as opposed to the top level. But yeah, Windwalk, the cooldown has been increased by a second, which kind of sucks. It makes his late game in particular a good bit weaker, those level 13 and 16 talents. In fact, let's open those up. So, excuse me. Shikuchi, which will let you teleport, and Harsh Winds. Those ones are... You know what, obviously looking at this at general level of play, I would say just don't bother picking them anymore. Don't bother. What does Kawarimi do? Windwalk creates an image. Sure, get that one. And then press the attack, and don't bother with these E things anymore. Because at general level of play, with the nerfs coming in, you're probably better off without them. That's a little bit sad. They've nerfed then Wave the Blade. If we pop over here, Wave the Blade, the crit bonus damage has been reduced from 25 to 20%. That's okay. And then Mirage, your Q, Spell Block has been reduced a little bit. Again, I don't think they're huge changes, and Blade Storm has been nerfed. Why? Why is Blade Storm being nerfed? I don't understand. Alright, so I don't really get the Blade Storm being nerfed. Burning Blade, obviously I understand being nerfed. And Mirage, you can see those ones are substantially ahead of the curve. Wave the Blade is pretty competitive and still will be pretty competitive. That's a pretty small nerf. Same thing with Mirage. Mirage will still be your general go-to. Burning Blade will still be your general go-to as well. I don't know really why they nerfed Blade Storm, honestly. And there you go. In fact, let me just give you a quick peek at him at Masters as well, so you can get a feel for that. You can see, okay, Wave the Blade. So Wave the Illusion might even take over now as the default one. I don't know. I think they're still going to be pretty much the same, honestly. Mirage is obviously the best one here. Burning Blade is substantially the best. Blade Storm, again, has a lower win rate. Illusion Master, there is a bug. There is a bug. That's... okay, maybe that's why. I don't know if they fixed the bug, but there has been a bug where you could use it to self-heal all of your illusions, which is really stupid. Interesting. And then, yeah. I don't know, I think maybe the Kuchi Harsh wins. It looks like even at all levels of play, this is no longer the thing you want to go for. I really like that playstyle. I think it's a great playstyle, but maybe a bit too strong. At least I would have thought so. Whereas it seems like kind of a more brainless playstyle, to put it really rudely, but, you know, make another image so people will attack the image, and then just when you like right click mindlessly on stuff, it will go faster and faster and faster. Heroes, it will go faster and faster. That seems the go-to thing. All right. Okay, not a big fan of these changes, honestly. Yeah, he's a much better spot. He's some overperforming talents. Sure. Yeah. Wait, did they not nerf Burning Blade? Am I just in my head? What am I doing? I could have sworn they nerfed Burning Blade. This is all in my head. They didn't nerf it. What am I talking about? It's, yeah, I did not sleep very well. I'm just stupid. Okay, so never mind. Burning Blade. All right. They didn't nerf Burning Blade, which for me, looking at this, looking at him at Master, looking at all levels of play, I'm kind of going, all right, you know what? Mirage, Burning Blade. They stand out as being a bit too powerful. Let's tone those down. They have not touched Burning Blade, though. They have touched Wave the Blade, which looks just fine. They touched Mirage, that's okay. They nerfed Blade Storm, which looked just fine to me. And then they nerfed the Windwalk stuff. I don't know. They're lighter. Yeah, there's certainly a light round of nerfs. I don't fully get the logic behind them, though. And they want to bring them even closer to the coveted 50% win rate. Again, it's like, the more I play the game, right, I don't know. At the start, I got that. Nowadays, I don't get it. Like, it just seems bullshit because heroes perform so differently in the different levels of play. And of course, it's so hard to make a hero that works at every level of play. It's like, how do you do that? You know, like, if there is skill involved in playing a hero, how do you make that hero good at low levels of play, but also really good at high levels of play? Which is why, like, someone, you know, like Medivh, right? Medivh has a terrible win rate, even though he's pretty good at pro level play, because he's so difficult to play that people can't. Or Alarak, or Greymane, or Abathur, a lot of these difficult heroes. I think Li Ming actually is much more difficult than people expect as well. Zeratul, a very difficult hero. Falstad is pretty challenging as well. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I don't know. That's a balance thing, but it's like this overall win rate for everyone playing the game. I suppose that is probably the most important thing in some ways, because it's everyone. But, it's like, why are you nerfing him? Why this way? I don't know. Anyway, that's enough about Samuro. Let's talk about Zeratul. Shadow Hunter. Cooldown reduction upon quest completion. Let's pop over here. So they're making some of his shitty ones good, basically. They're making some of his shitty talents good. So they nerfed Mending Strike. So Mending Strike's at 13 was the one your basic attacks heal you. So they've toned that down a little bit. I think it's still really good, probably still the go-to. And then they've buffed a few of the shitty ones. So you had this Shadow Hunter where gathering regen globes would lower the mana cost of Blink, who cares? And then gathering 20 basic attacks reduce the cooldown of Blink, also pretty crappy. I don't know. I feel like, so the high level build would really be Seeker in the Dark is actually the one. That's, apart from that, it's the same as the video I did before. Like, this is like your general like master sort of level build. Then you also have a Q build, which would have been something like this. I suppose Wormhole for the Q build, probably. Maybe even Shroud of Adun, I don't know exactly. Level 7 and 13, but something like that. And like that, I don't know. So they made this Void Slash better, which is cool, which is alright. Whenever you hit 2 heroes with your Q, it does 40% increased damage. Now it's going to be 50% increased damage and reduce the cooldown. So really empowering you to get hits in on multiple heroes, which is nice. And then they're making Grim Task better, which makes so much sense, right? Because you've got 2 abilities that do damage. You've got your W and your Q. Rend and Cleave makes your Q do 40% more damage. Doesn't affect your W. Now Grim Task, you get this, and this would improve the damage of your Q and your W, so you get 2 spells affected, But you need to get kills to get this. You need to get 10 kills to get 40%, and then you lose your ability power on death. So it was like, is it ever worth taking this over Combo Slash or Rending Cleave? Like, why not take Rending Cleave instead of Grim Task? I'm still going to be doing... Like, if I go into a Q build, I'm still doing the same amount of damage, basically, with my Q, but it's not dependent on getting 10 kills and not dying. And I don't care that much about the W thing. So, yeah, I like that they've made Grim Task here better. It's now going to go up to 50%, 5% per stack. That's great. I still don't know if it's a go-to one. Shadowhunter, that could open up some interesting plays, alright. That could open up some interesting plays. And yeah, there we go. They're happy with Zeratul. I'm happy with Zeratul as well. And they want to make some of these talent picks a bit better. Sure, why not? Now, Varian has got some big changes. So, his Q, mana cost has been reduced, and the slow amount has been increased. Great. Varian's in a weird spot where he sucks. Basically. He sucks. He sucks. Where is he? He's down here near the bottom. Oh, he's higher up than I thought he was. Good on you, Varian. You've climbed. There you go. Overall, okay, so he's like a 50% overall. Good for Varian. And then I think his win percentages all go down when you hit Master. Yep. All those lovely win percentages, they go down when you hit Master. Poor Varian. Poor guy. He's having a tough time. So they made the Q better. Parry is now going to be every 8 seconds for a charge instead of every 10 seconds. And that's quite a nice little buff, actually, to survivability. Heroic Strike is now going to be... I didn't actually realize this was a thing, but it's now going to be physical damage instead of spell damage. And as well, you get the second wind, which you can see is substantially ahead of the curve here. So your basic attacks would heal you, and when you're at low health, they would heal you for a percentage of the damage that you dealt. Now, apparently, actually, Heroic Strike was physical damage, so you get a big chunk of bonus healing from second wind when you landed a Heroic Strike at lower health, which is silly. So they've made that spell damage, which I think is good, so it won't synergize with second wind, and will also benefit from ability power. So, for example, with Banner of Dalaran, you can throw that down and make your Heroic Strike hit harder, which is honestly what I expected it to do in the first place. I'm more like, oh, okay, I didn't realize that this interaction was there. Fair enough. Okay, cool. I'm glad they fixed it. That makes it much more intuitive to how abilities generally work in the game. And they have buffed his taunt, which, as you can see, is by far his under... I love this, by the way. Look at this. Look at this shit, right? I think one of the most important things about a multiclass is that all 6 builds are close in power level. 52, 46, 41. Close in power level. That's like an 11.5% win percentage. That's higher. I know. I feel like we have different definitions of what being close in power level means. Level 4... Warbringer, 51%. Shield Wall, 52.5%. These are the 6 builds, by the way, are the 2 level 4s combo with the 3 level 10s. I don't seem particularly close in power level to me, Blizzard. Talking out your ass, god damn it. Talking out... Okay, Twin Blades and Warbringer are a little higher than the rest. They're fucking like 11% higher. This one's only... It's only like 8.5% higher. That's all. That's all. Yeah, Blizzard... Shame. Maybe the win percentages were different when they wrote this, or they're just trying to phrase it nicely. They're not close at all, goddammit. But they have buffed taunt to make up for this. So the health bonus is now going to be 60% bonus max health. They reduced the mana cost, which is really nice. And then it no longer reduces Varian's basic attack speed. I think it used to reduce it like 20-25% or something. It doesn't do that anymore. It's now just, you get more max health. Great, and the ability is easier to use. They've also buffed it in like the last patch as well. So that's quite nice. Just trying to make that taunt build better. More closer in power level. God damn it, Blizzard. Alright, level 1 then the Q. The slow's been increased. That's pretty cool. Make that a little bit more competitive. Again, like it's just fairly dominated by High King's Quest at the moment. They've nerfed Warbringer a little bit. So it used to reduce your... It makes your stun charge. It makes your charge stun... it used to reduce the charge cooldown from 16 to 6 seconds, which was kind of crazy. I think this is a very reasonable change. It reduces it from 16 to 8. So it's like, alright, 50% cooldown reduction on your charge, and it's not going to stun now. So I think that's pretty reasonable. Interesting over here is that they, with level 7, they made Live by the Sword. It's now going to increase the duration of your parry by 40%. And then they reduce the cooldown reduction. It used to be reduce the cooldown of charge whenever, or of parry, if you got hit by a basic attack from a hero. by 3 seconds. Now, seeing as they made parries cooldown shorter, they've nerfed the cooldown reduction a little bit. I would honestly kind of like to see something happen to combine this, or to switch things with this between Shield Wall and Live by the Sword. So Shield Wall makes your W makes you protected. And then Live by the Sword now increases the duration by 40% and reduces the cooldown. So they're going to combo really well together. But does that kind of force you into a W build? I don't know. Like, I would like a bit more flexibility between the talents, or just make Warbringer a little less appealing. Nerf it even more, or not nerf it even more, maybe. Though that is probably what's going to happen, let's be honest. They're probably going to have to nerf Warbringer even more in the next patch. But I kind of like, maybe could you buff Shield Wall, like it increases duration by 20%, and this does another 20%, so it's like, okay, it would be nice to stack these together, but it's not necessary. But make Shield Wall a bit more competitive with Warbringer without needing to combo with something at level 7. Because, my god, that is a dire win percentage. Is that the worst? That might be the worst talent in the game right now. It's still not great, really, is it? And it's really only good if you have Shield Wall. I don't know. I don't know about that. Alright, well, I think there's still stuff. I think there's still stuff to be done at level 4 and 7 with Varian. I'd be surprised if this fixed it. Let's put it that way. And then they're making the taunt thingy better, so it was like every time you land you get hit by a heroic basic attack, it reduces the cooldown of taunt. I still don't see why you would go for that as opposed to something else. I know they've buffed it, but it still seems really weak. Anyway, there we go. So yes, close to power level. Twin Blades and Warbringer a little higher than the rest. So they're going to nerf the point and click stun, which I think is great. Making Shield Wall better a little bit, certainly, and that's good. Make taunt better. And yeah, that's pretty good. I think they should also remove, by the way, if I just do like a quick patch, remove the 10% max HP loss on Colossal Smash, just to bring that a bit more in line overall. I do think, like I've said before in the Variant video, I do think Colossus Smash is better than is represented by these win rates. But they can always nerf it after the fact, right? They can nerf it after the fact. Nerf its damage or something if that becomes a thing. But it's just kind of weird to have this, like, you get 10% less max health. It's just a bit bizarre. And in my opinion, doesn't actually fit with the fantasy at all. It's like, okay, instead of running around with my sword in one hand, I have it in 2 hands. It's like, now you've got less health. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why is that a thing? Change that, please. Specialist, Nazebo. Corpse Spiders, the Q. 20% faster missile speed. Great. Make it much easier to land that. That's fantastic. Toads of Hugeness is now going to do more damage, which is cool. And then they made the Soul Harvesting better, which is cool. I mean, let's just check out his other options here. Nazebo. These seem just fine. It was very difficult to hit that Q thing, so that will help him do a little bit better, for sure. Make the Q build better. Toes of Hugeness, so you could definitely have like this E build, I suppose, coming in now, which would be a little bit better, a little bit more competitive with the Guardian Toes as well. Okay. Soul Harvest. Okay, you're giving up like double speed cooldowns and Ring of Poison, alright, in order to take Soul Harvest. Okay, so this is like 4% up to maximum 20%. This is now 5% to 25%. Ability, power, and health. Okay, it's pretty decent as well. Oh, okay, so they want to make the Toad build better. They want to make the Spider build a bit better too. That seems fair. I like these changes a lot. I like the changes a lot. And Nazebo's in an okay spot. We'll see. Yeah, but I like these little tweaks just to... Because he had kind of descended into a bit of a cookie cutter build, which would be something like, you know, the Big Voodoo, Dead Rush, and one of these two, whichever. I don't know, Superstition, Ring of Poison, and... Oh, no, this one. And, like, that's pretty cookie cutter. So it's good that's been changed. Brightwing's mobility has also been nerfed, or phase shift, longer cooldown. Same thing with the other globals. I think it's a good change. Makes it a bit of a bigger decision whenever you want to port in, and I like that. Karazim, Breath of Heaven, move speed is a bit bigger. Iron Fist, the damage has been reduced a little bit. Earth Ally, the cooldown has been increased a little bit. And then the level 7, better move speed has been buffed just to compensate for the base buff to W. So pretty reasonable changes. Karazim is in a very good spot. I think Iron Fist Karazim is still going to be by far the best. I think it's still going to be pretty OP. So yeah, but basically you run Karazim as like Iron Fists into Divine Palm, and then you've like damage stuff at the other tiers, and you just like do damage and a bit of healing to the side, and it's really, really effective. Like his win rate is pretty huge. In fact, let me show you. He's very strong right now, much stronger than I expected. The overall thing, you can see Iron Fist is quite a bit ahead, and yada yada yada. You can check it out yourself. But Masters in particular, you can see it really shoots up to like almost 60% win rate with Iron Fists. Earth Ally actually is very strong. Spirit Ally is obviously a good option too, though. But yeah, you go like Iron Fists, Earth Ally, Blinding Speed, Divine Palm, or Seven Sided. They're both really good. Fist of Fury, Wave the 100 Fists, 63%, and then whatever, level 20. And it's kind of crazy. Now, they have also, skip ahead a little bit, we'll come back. Fix an issue that caused Karasu's final hit during Wave the 100 Fists to deal more damage than intended. So there was a bug there, obviously, and that has been fixed. So that will tone him down a little bit. In particular, this win rate, some of it is due to a bug there. Echo of Heaven is really strong as well. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, Karasim is very strong, basically. He's still going to be very strong even with these changes, and they seem somewhat reasonable, and I expect more tweaks in the future because Iron Fist is still way dominant, and it's not going to change. 15%, like, that's not going to change it. Nubkeks, base health has gone up, and health regen has gone up a little bit to make him a bit more tankier, and I think that's great. Diablo's basic attacks received responsiveness improvements, hooray. Also, that was, he's got a big rework on the PTR, so we'll see that when we come to there. And then Stitches, Fleabag, cooldown reduction. Now, this is a pretty cool talent. I had to check what it was. It's this one. Whenever you're stunned or rooted, reduces their basic ability cooldowns by 3 seconds. It's now going to reduce it by 6 seconds, which is kind of nuts. The things you're giving up are bigger range and arc on Slam, which is pretty nice too. And then Indigestion, using Devour creates a Retchling, which is probably I think that's the one that's picked most often. Like your basic cooldowns, you got 16 seconds, 8 seconds, 20 seconds. Yeah, he's got really long cooldowns. Holy shit. So it's going to knock 6 seconds off of this. It's going to basically let you spam Slam and hooks, but I suppose hooks in the team fight don't matter so much. But yeah, that could be pretty cool. That's a really big buff to that talent. Let's actually check out the win rates on that. I'm very curious now. Very curious now. Okay, yeah, it was like really weak. Indigestion is so much better. Okay. So, yeah, that brings it more in line. I like that change. That makes sense to me. Judging off those win rates, that makes sense to me. Let's check for all the levels real quick. Oh, yeah, it's even crappy there. Right, so, okay, good change. And I love this change as well. Sanctification for Tyrael. The cooldown's been increased from 80 to 100 seconds. Makes so much sense. I can't believe how short the cooldown on Zank was for so long. This is the second nerf they've given to its cooldown. I think it's great. It's so good. And the cooldown was really not anywhere reflective of that. I think having it being 100-second cooldown is much more reflective of its power level. I think this is a very sensible change. And yeah, that's going to bring Tyrael more reasonably in line. What is the cooldown on... Tyrael, what's the cooldown on Judgment? I think at one stage, yeah, I'm pretty sure at one stage Judgment had a longer cooldown. I think this was 80 seconds and this was 60. I could be wrong, but it was just stupid. Where it was like Sank was so much better than Judgment and had a shorter cooldown. It was just like win-win, pick Sank every time. So this is going to be much more reasonable with Judgment. I think they could even knock that down to like 60 seconds, honestly, and then have that be 100 seconds. So you got like the short cooldown, maybe try to get some picks, or then the big cooldown, win the team fight heroic. I think they're cool changes and I like it. So there you go, guys. That is all the changes in today's patch. Pretty large changes really for like a little balance patch that's coming out before, like at the same time effectively as a PTR. Like pretty large changes actually. I think this was probably intended to come out last week and they had to delay it. But yeah, it's live now and that's cool. For the most part, I'm pretty happy with this. I think I'm not super happy with Varian yet, and I don't fully understand some of the Samuro stuff, but I like the Li Ming changes. I like the nerfs to the globals and the change to Sank in particular, and then like some nice buffs like to Nazebo and Nubkeks, Stitches, stuff like that, which is pretty good. So yeah, hope you guys found that interesting and helpful. Yeah, Li Ming especially. Watch out for the Li Ming. That's probably like the biggest change to affect Hero League, and I suppose. Samuro being weaker again, and Li Ming again. I think particularly high level play, they're both going to be fairly overrated heroes. Certainly with Li Ming, as I was talking about, probably going to see a switch maybe to a more Q focused build, and that's a different playstyle which people will have to learn. And yeah, Should be pretty interesting. All right, I'm gonna go do the PTR patch notes. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.